Tuna wageni watatu, Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani, karibuni sana.
Shalom, salama, siemi, shalom. Greetings, everyone. On my normal, I would say to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. You are truly welcomed here. Those are my normal introductions on my Covenant Awakenings channel, but now this is Quest to Unite Africa. And I say that the greetings still apply because, we're trying to do the work that the Most High has set us to do. This is a faith-based organization. Quest to Unite Africa is a faith-based 501c3 organization. No, it's not a church. And there's a reason it's not a church. That gives us the ability to function a little bit more in a system where you can see is slowly decaying by the hour. So we're doing our best to ensure that we are doing the work that the Most High has put on us during this time. And we are in unprecedented times. Forgive me, family, I'm still trying to do the setup. I was running a little bit late today because there are a lot of things still going on in the background. A lot of pieces that we're trying to put together, a lot of things that we're trying to do. In the intro, you see the Quest to Unite Africa, Invest in Africa seminar. And I'm going to come at you in a very practical, pragmatic way. When you get on the continent, how do you plan on making money? Many a time, we try to understand that we think that we may have the portability or the ability to transfer funds from out of a system that's dying to a system that is vibrant. If you were on the Covenant Awakenings channel yesterday, Sister Pamela Hood, had mentioned in her chat comment that when she had moved to Senegal 2 years ago, she was able to see and has noticed that the value of the dollar has been sliding. And she said, quote unquote, that the dollar's value doesn't go as far as it had once was, which in my mind goes to tell you specifically that the attack on the US dollar is real. Earlier this week on Covenant Awakenings channel, we discussed in the roundtable discussions and roundtable discussion part 2 the actual attack on the US dollar. What people don't understand about World War III is that the shots fired will be at the very last recourse. Because why? Because it's ensuring that the United States has no choice but to declare a war with its allies on the global south. This is what is happening. This is the trap that's been sprung. This is the plan that has now gone into full motion because a lot of channels here on YouTube from other nationalities, particularly the dominant nationality here in the United States, they're saying what is actually going on with shortages. We cannot, as a nation, and I say that we loosely, but the United States is trying its best to not show the imperialist economic forces that's occurring because of these shortages, these supply chain critical gaps, and all of these other economic measures that's causing the quality of life in the United States to become a third world nation right in front of our eyes. Yes, we may celebrate the Super Bowl and have fun with Kansas City and the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey and whatever entertainment narrative circus that they want to display. Because why? It's the same exact thing that the Roman Empire had for a couple of years before it fell apart. And when the Roman Empire fell apart, don't underestimate the turmoil that's seated with that. You had warlord power structures that took place, and then they eventually became kingdoms. But they are warlords. Let's get it. Let's understand it. They romanticized it a little bit better. Generals that organized and had their militias and other units ready from old Roman garrisons. And they just went through, painted up their coat of arms, their flags, and went to work seizing territory. And now what we're seeing here is the exact same methods and methodologies that's getting ready to be employed. You better understand what you're seeing with Texas, because that's becoming a slow moving devolvement into national chaos. And we thank the Most High for what He's been allowed for Q2UA Africa to do during this time. The wake up call came with these banks going wonky last year. That's how the rumbling started. That's how folks started to chatter, and that's how things started to really move in terms of a like-minded progression to working with ourselves and being able to formulate a way forward. And it's truly been a blessing to see how the Most High has opened up doors that would be even way beyond your normal understanding. Definitely mine. Can I say I'm shocked of seeing how the Most High is moving? No, I can't say I'm shocked, because I know how the Most High moves and I've seen him move. So it's awesome to see how he's been working in this organization. And as we say in this organization, this is his organization. And so we thank him for filling the needs that we may have. There's a need in this organization to pay bills, to have the phones on, to have the website up. Those are still a cost. To have the emails to answer, to have the job forms. That we can sign up volunteers. And I thank you for those that have signed up. We really went through this week to have a better process of managing our volunteers. I know we've had volunteers reaching out, folks that have done electricians work. I read the emails and I appreciate it. Medical support. This is exactly what is needed for critical infrastructure and economic development. And when you understand the concerted effort of the West to do what? To ensure that these nations, particularly in Africa, do not have electricity or clean running water. Understand how warfare is played. It's not that the nations don't want to have it. It's the fact that there is a concerted effort to ensure that they do not reach that sustainability per se. And we saw that earlier with, and what was said last year of the dirty tricks and the maneuvers that the West plays, particularly France, that was called out, and the way that uranium was being purchased for less than, for a fraction of 1% of the cost. A fraction of 1%. Basically, that's thievery. It's highway robbery. When you're drilling water and you don't even put the right components in the actual well so the well can be sustained, and there's a filtration system to be able to have a clean running source of water that filters out the bacteria and parasites. See, the measures that they have been used to have been half baked measures. Here you go. This is good enough. And now we're in a time where countries are fed up that they don't want to have the good enough. And you see this happening every day on the continent. When you see countries such as Nigeria saying that they're getting ready to trade their oil in the local Nigerian currency. What does that mean? Well, that means that they'll get more value for their resource and their resources. See, in the Western dialect and frame of things is, you purchase things for a value. However, on the continent, as a supplier, they do not value the supplier. Give me what you are supposed to give me, or else your top bankers will, mysteriously perish as they're trying to enjoy the Super Bowl festivities. Give me what you have, or else I continue to destabilize your country with quote unquote peacekeepers. And in this time that we're living in right now, this is a time to where this country, America, is facing a perilous time with controlling its border. And the problem is that when you cannot control your border, you actually leave your border open and exposed. That's actually a symptom of a failing country. Because what does that mean? That means that your monetary policy is in shambles. That means that who you had as your primary class of people are no longer going to be relied upon. Because those are the very same ones that need stability. Now we see that they are seeing how this thing is shaping up. We weren't lying to them. It was just that the manner of us providing that information to them was not palpable. And that palpability of, hey, this is about to happen. This is what the word says. This is what the scripture says. It's in the Bible. All we're doing is we're speaking to the other nations in truth and peace. They may not like the truth. They may not like what they hear. When we were in the church, as a majority of us were before we were awakened, we would proselytize about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We would proselytize about him dying on the cross for our sins and going to heaven. And it was kind of a blanket annulment. So you can sin as much as you want, as long as you say, Jesus, forgive me and cover me under the blood of for my sins, that you could go on sinning and grinning. This is a little bit of a rough analogy. But if you have a sexual addiction and you keep visiting prostitutes and you say, Jesus, forgive me, but you continue the behavior of visiting prostitutes, you're going to end up getting sick and dying. Because they don't want to tell you that the wages of sin are death. Because they just tell you, don't worry about changing your behavior, just worry about being engrossed and enthralled in this cover all things are good as long as you do this and do that. And we have been saying this right now to this nation, whether or not the message was, either couth or very uncouth. We understand how the folly of this nation has been really, I would say, exposed. And honestly in a very predictable manner. I used to love history. I'm a history buff. Through and through, I loved history. When I would go to the Middle East, I'd always go to their museums. When I was in Amman, I'd go to their museum and their um, amphitheater that the Romans had built in downtown Amman, Jordan. When I was in Saudi Arabia, I went to the Saudi National History Museum. In Qatar, I did the same thing. And it was funny because in Qatar, I actually realized, yeah, there are a lot of there. Those are Canaanites, and it's not to take away from what it is Africa, but you have to understand the history of what these kingdoms, these nations, these empires, how they are formed and are disposed of in the annals of history. And when you start to understand these exposures, you start to realize that we serve an awesome heavenly Father who sticks to his word. So no matter what is being said, no matter how we see things taking place in history, it was always going to be how it was going to be. Whether or not, however, how whether or not we liked it or not. Nobody likes to get a whipping, but if you're just a bad behind kid, you're gonna have to get beat. I gave my children spankings and whippings because I loved them. And they saw how they needed to be corrected. Cry a few tears, shed a few tears, feel bad, but then understand what it is that they were doing. Because growing up, I used to see many of my friends that did not have the corrective actions taken upon their backsides, and they're not around anymore. See, in the land of our captivity, our power was never to punish. Yeah, we can withhold funds, monies, we can speak out and yada yada, but our power wasn't really to punish. All we could do was just open up our mouths, and our mouths would actually be the most powerful. We were trying to warn this place that Russia was getting ready to do its thing, as the word had said. That came from out of this community. And then all of a sudden, all the mainstream churches, oh, well, but we're not Babylon. So then what are we? Oh, I know we're not Babylon. I know who we are. I know what it is in our captivity. But it's hard for them to reconcile that because none of their leaders will tell them the truth. And that's sad. Josephus touched on this that the leaders that the Israelites had, they lied and lied and lied. And then when they fell apart, those leaders were nowhere to be found, or else they had died in the process of lying. So for here at Quest 2 Night Africa, this is not just being hearers, but also doers. We have the jot form updated. So now it's a streamlined process. Shout out to our volunteers getting that together. And now we're back up on Zoom. Come on in. There's 200 people watching live right now. Unless you're at work or have some other job commitments, why don't you swing in at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time? It's now a little bit easier. And that's what we try to do. We try to have a very innovative capacity because this is what we're bringing over to the continent. We had very good discussions with our Q2A logistics counterparts and how we're moving that ball forward for when Brother Mike gets over there. He is on the ground and running. Not dilly dallying, but running. Getting our ideas and our plans up and going. And we just play the Most High willing that we have the requisite funds that He will provide graciously. To get the Tanzanian office up and going, it's about $10,000. We're working on a Rwandan interface that's going to cost us 3,000. It's about a total of around $15,000. We once had that pledge to us, and I thank the Most High that honestly, we don't want to take pledges with strings attached. The Most High will provide when He does and how He does. It's in His timing. And we are a very, very resilient people. So we're not concerned about that. It's always that something at the very last minute opens up. That's how this thing works. We sit, we pray, and we thank the Most High. Father, we thank you. We give you praise and we give you glory. And we give him that petition under the blood of his son, Yahushua HaMashiach. And I've been at this now for 10 months and 12 days. And I've seen how the Most High moves and how he works. And it's incredible. He loves to see us sweat. And that sweating isn't physical necessarily, a lot of it is spiritual. Sorry, I have to do this in my Question Night Africa discussions. But he loves to give the key sweat of, I bet I can make you sweat. You say no, I say yes. Or what would that really say is, my flesh says no, but my spirit says yes. I bet that he can make us sweat, and he does. But in grand fashion, he always delivers and he always provides. We do surely serve an awesome Father. But when we do listen to his voice and we do obey him, guess what he does? He provides and he opens up doors in ways that we never thought would be even possible. This week, we will be on Sister Shonda's channel. We're just finalizing the dates. I'm thinking it's going to be Tuesday. And I'll say that that would be Tuesday the 20th. I'll get that on over to Sister Shonda. And that we'll talk to her and have her on our channel because there are certain things that, and I'm not at liberty to say, I know that Sister Shonda will speak for herself. Or maybe she'll say, hey, go ahead, Brother Karras. I don't know. But she's been blessed to participate and something that's very, very incredible. I'll try to see the time that works for the organization, whether it's we're on sooner or later. Maybe about 4:30, 5 o'clock that Tuesday. But there are doors that honestly we never know what we would be called up to. We never know the arena that we would be sitting up in. We never knew how the Most High works things to elevate his people. And this is a very exciting opportunity, not just for her, but for this community family. We are doing some things. Hallelujah. And we're in a very interesting time. Let's take a look at what's going on in the news. Hopefully, I highlighted a couple of the topics. But yes, family, please support Quest Unite Africa by visiting questuniteafrica.org. Please support Quest Unite Africa by visiting quest2uniteafrica.org. And this segment of the news. Go ahead and present this. Anti-Western demonstrations in DR as fighting escalates in East. Anti-Western demonstrations rocked the Democratic Republic of Congo on Monday, with protesters denouncing what they said was silence in the international community over deaths caused by fighting between M23 rebels and the Congolese army. The Western countries are supporting Rwanda, which is accused of backing the Tutsi-led rebellion. We have to pray for our brothers and sisters over there. Because we have to pray that we are no longer doing the bidding of the Western powers. It's real easy to be the hidden hand when your hand has black face. Brother Mike, shalom. Oh, I thought this was going to be a short presentation. All right. No,
Shalom, brother. How you doing, Karis?
oh, I'm trying to make it through this Friday. Hallelujah.
Praise to be Yah. I just
So,
seen. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
So we were just talking earlier, right? That we need about $15,000. It's 15,000 to get the office set up, to get the Rwanda foot footsteps planted. because we want you to get on out there hitting the ground running. There are many things going on because we're getting the support from our Tanzanian counterparts, our brothers and sisters over there that are excited and are happy and are willing to partner up. We're getting lists together of those businesses that need sponsorships.
The brothers in Tanzania, they're tired of the boot on their neck.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they speaking up. They speaking up, and they letting it be known, and they're really truly saying, "Hey, we can do this upon our own." But this is the reason why the continent of Africa is asking for our people to come back home. They know we are that missing puzzle for us to come back together. You got knowledge. You have a will to come back together.
Mm.
That's the thing. It's that will of working with one another. That's the that's that that's that bond that was bring us back together. Because this is what we're doing. We're seeing what's happening on a political, financial, the political and financial platform. We're seeing what's happening. I don't think that we need to be saying this every single day of what's going on. We have ears and we have eyes. We can see and hear at the same time. We're seeing what the world is saying. This is what's going on. This particular part of the world, this is what's going on. Now, whether you choose to act or not, that's it. That's going to be based on the individual person. You laid it out. Let's just take from this day, going back to this particular day of last year. Were you not talking about bricks?
Oh yeah.
Or
Oh,
wheat?
we're gonna get to it. Oh, we're gonna get to some of these articles in here. Shout out to
Oh,
Brother Garth for getting these
cares.
articles together.
Please.
We're
Hmm.
spinning up a news channel that is featuring Brother Garth in one of our segments, so he can get out of his stage fright. You know,
Why you calling that brother out like that, brother?
uh,
You know, God, he'll throw that he'll throw that southern comfort voice in.
that's not that's a. I'll give you a little bit of that Caribbean flavor on it, and um, and North Jersey, North Jersey. He says Central, but it's North Jersey. Um, you know, uh,
Hmm.
his 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 isms. Shout out to Brother Garth. But no, that's he was putting these articles together, and what I want to touch in on this is back in about June, July of last year. That was where um brother Mike and myself were getting ready to go was to the Congo.
Yeah.
There are relationships that are there. And see, we have to understand this is why a lot of these African nations are very wary because at any time that things seem a little. Let's just understand the context of what we understand. If a nation gets too uppity, oh yeah, when you start to get a little uppity, then they'll be coming for you.
Yeah.
Let's put that into the real extreme context. What they're not trying to tell you, and maybe they are in this article. Let me kind of go down here, but they're saying, look, these are wars that's being perpetrated, and what is going on? Um, that they are launching and causing instability because the instability provides for nations to come through and take their wealth. There's not a position to help them, to work with them, to grow with them, to improve
Mm.
the quality of life. No, it's to ensure that they're still there dying for the minerals.
And this is what this is all about. Let us not get twisted. This is not about that paper dollar. This is all about minerals.
Bingo.
And where is all the minerals located at? Yeah. Those minerals are on that particular continent. And that's where we are at right to this particular day. And they know this. They know this. The world knows it. And it's a, I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you finish that, and then I want to try to move on to these other
Yeah,
stories. Go
I
ahead.
mean, we looking at a structure of business. Business is not worried about what they can print. They not. If they have the will to print it, they go print it. But when you talking about you have to dig and find, that's the one that holds weight. That is the one that holds weight, is what you need to find. Things that can sustain a country, families, or individual. Gold, uh, um, silver, copper. These are the things we have seen. It is beneficial for a man to live. It's beneficial. And you know, and this is where we are at, and this is what the world is truly showing us. We can sit up here and talk about paper dollars, where you can take a lighter and burn it. It's not about that. It's not about the dollar. The something that you can hold, feel, and burn. If you burn gold, will it burn up? If you burn silver, will it burn up? No, it will not.
Mm-mm.
It would just liquefy. And then once it cooled down, it's solid. That dollar, once you burn it, it's ash. There's no coming back from that.
Mm-mm.
None. It's not. And this is what I mean. I heard you were speaking about that earlier. And and I just come in to back it up to say, hey, once it's burnt, It's ashes.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nothing you can do with it. There's nothing that you can possibly do with ash. Is let it flow through the wind till eventually it just crumbles and move on, become dust.
Mm.
That's it, bro.
This is true. This is true. So let's turn our attention here. I'm gonna go to this article. And I'll put this article in the chat for our folks. So this is from CNN, from Sharon Braithwaite and Nimi Princewell. UN raises alarm over escalating tensions in Senegal after election delay. You had the folks in the street, they're burning stuff. The United Nations is deeply concerned about the tense situation in Senegal following the suspension of the country's presidential election that was slated for February 25th. Spokesman for the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Liz Throssell, said mobile internet access was cut off for the second time this month on Tuesday after 3 people died in violent protests that broke out in the capital. All right. Earlier this month, President Macky Sall announced the election would not be held as scheduled and days later on February 5th, Senegal's parliament voted to formally delay it. So there's protests, and something is telling me, when I'm looking at these protests here, something tells me that these folks are getting sick and tired of either ECOWAS and the West.
I was thinking the same thing, Karis.
And you're not going to hear that commentary in CNN because they're going to stay away from that commentary. That people on the ground are probably sick of foreign intervention. Let's be honest. They're seeing what's happening in Burkina Faso and Mali and Niger with plans for them to have nuclear power plants. That means to have actual energy flow. That means to be able to have a good telecommunications grid. That means that their infrastructure is not going to be compromised to be able to keep them in derision and to keep them poor and helpless. So trust me, the word gets around the continent about how the other neighborhoods are faring. And now you have that. Don't worry, we're going to get to Nigeria too. Because there's a soft pushback. There's a pushback, but it's a soft one. And to me, ECOWAS is beginning to push back. Not necessarily the legislative bodies, but the civilian population body, the people, are hearing and listening, and they're wondering what is going on. Why are we living in squalor like this? And we know that they take, then they take, and they take. That's an embarrassment for France when Burkina Faso had told them, look, this is what they were doing. That was an embarrassment. Because now people were putting 2 to 2. Oh, if they're doing that there, that no wonder we're having issues here. But What say you, Mike?
The world is tired of the West, and it's an echo. It is an echo that has been um, echo around the world. And even if you may have a country or whatever that I just say may have not heard of it, the media is using their weapons against them. That's what I'm seeing. And it's bringing on all of this heat, this anger. Why is the world the way it is?
Mm.
Who are the first? What country is the first and foremost country that stands out amongst any other country? Who is the police?
Mm.
Who has killed more leaders? You delete it. I'm sorry. So sad you got to twist your tongue in order to make sense nowadays. But you know, you have these leaders who spoke up against a particular country, and they're no longer with us. They fought and said, "Hey, this is not right." We have, because I know you, you and Brother Golf were talking about a particular incident that happened, and I thought Golf would go be on today, and things of that nature, because I really wanted to get more information about it. But this is what we are seeing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're heading to that article next.
Well, I mean,
I want it because that really does tie hand in hand. Because really, here's the thing. Even though countries may not be joining BRICS, they're becoming very BRICS adjacent. Because here's this article I want to share. This is from Watcher.guru. And I'll share this article in the chat.
Oh man, are you for real?
Now you kind of wonder. Now you wonder why that top Nigerian banker was killed in Las Vegas, trying to go to the Super Bowl and festivities. Starts to make sense now. This is from Vinod D'Souza. BRICS. Nigeria plans to sell oil in local currency, not U.S. dollar. Nigeria has applied to join BRICS in 2023, but the application was rejected at the 15th summit in Johannesburg. Wow.
Wait a minute. Hold on. When you say the application, application was rejected, what application was that?
Nigeria had applied to join BRICS in 2023, but the application was rejected in the 15th summit in Johannesburg. Wow. They couldn't get in the BRICS, y'all.
Wait a minute, Karis. When they saying that Nigeria was rejected from joining BRICS.
Yep.
I mean, hold on. Wait a minute. I'm doing some scientific Rolodexing now. Why were they rejected? I mean, if they tried to join BRICS, I understand they got stipulations and things.
I think, to be honest, listen, they're so caught up and so deep in the West.
That's what I was thinking.
It's like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks, because you're just going to be there to the stable stuff. And we're not going to really feel you like that if you're going
Yeah.
to try and destabilize stuff. We're not going to
All
be
right.
feeling you like that.
I
That's the
was just
thing.
making sure that my line of thinking was on point. That's what I was
Mhm.
thinking. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, you already know how they get down. So, yeah, if I was Bricks, I'd reject their application too.
Yeah. So it's really truly letting them know that, hey, in order for you to become with you guys to brush off every stain of the West.
Mhm.
You got to clean you literally have to cleanse yourself because you are a threat
Yeah.
to what we're trying to do or what
Mhm.
we are doing truthfully.
Oh yeah. Let's listen to this. This is what the article reads. Despite the rejection, Nigeria is looking at possible ways to join BRICS and be a part of the bloc. The African country wants to strengthen its local currency, the naira, by allowing other countries to settle trade in their tender. The senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, has urged the federal government to follow BRICS ideals of de-dollarization and sell crude oil in local currency and not the U.S. dollar. Were we just watching this? Were we just seeing this?
Mm, mm,
Are we
mm.
just talking about this?
Woo.
The de-dollarization is on. The dollarization started this year, January 1st. The dollarization started. We're not. I'm not trying to be here to be a doom and gloom.
Mm, mm,
We're not trying to
mm.
say give to Question Not Africa because doom and no. Because why? Because give to something that's still fertile. Because if you're keeping your dollar in these banks while the world is now in the process of the dollarization, you just saw that 95% of trade with Russia, China, and India is going to be in their own currency and not the dollar. They're getting rid of the dollar. Even Saudis are settling oil trade outside the dollar. Same with UAE. What
Mm,
does that mean? That means the West is in trouble. The financial war is on.
mm,
How
mm.
much how much time do you think is left long?
Ooh. Mm.
The struggle is real. And this is just February. What do you think it's going to look like in 6 months?
Welcome to 2024.
That's why
Mm.
look, the more that I hear Mike's voice and it's still here in the United States, and he's still here in the United States, the more we cringe in the background. We're cringing. Man, we got to get you out now. Quick,
Bro, I woke
fast,
up.
in a hurry.
I was up at 3 o'clock. Well, no. I'm sorry. 2:30 this morning, putting things together. That's what I was doing. 2:30 this morning, and I mean, this been the norm really. And I get up, boom. All right, I need to get this done. I need to get this in place. I need to do this. I need to do that. Because yeah, it makes me feel that we're running behind. That's how it makes me feel. That's just me. And
Mhm.
but hmm,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
gotta
Listen.
move.
Yeah. We're now seeing these articles, they're not just little happenstance articles. They're really not. They're the culmination of bigger things going on. It's the culmination. Yeah, I may
Mm.
use big words. Yeah, I may do this, do that. I get it. But when I started my doctorate program, I said, I'm talking about bricks. Because when this is my little doctorate application in 2020, I said, I'm gonna do bricks. And you have to give a compelling reason of why you believe, this is a, good dissertation to write about and yada yada. And I'm like, because I see how it's about to change the world. And I didn't tell him this, but I truly saw the significant prophetic relationship that BRICS was going to have during this time. BRICS to me is the introduction of the 10 Toes Kingdom. That's how it goes.
Mm. Wow. When do you start taking up your studies on bricks?
In 2020. But
2020.
yeah,
All right.
but I had been having my eye on BRICS just in my own personal research since like 2018, 2019.
Mm.
But we could see this coming. We see this coming. We understand this thing. And now the world is starting to wake up. The way that the US works, the dollar is an international monetary standard. If it's not being internationally utilized, then the strength of the dollar falls.
Man, but can you imagine that for a moment? Before this even happened, the whole planet was laced in green of the dollar.
Hmm.
And then and when I say this all of a sudden, I mean that. You're
Hmm.
talking about when the bricks, what year did it show its face on the scene?
In 2001, it was known as BRIC.
Mm.
2011, they added South Africa.
Let me ask you something. 2001, you say?
2001.
What else happened in 2001?
Oh, you know it. Yep.
All right, I'm done.
Mm, you know it. This has been the plan that has been in place.
Yeah.
The plan has been in place. The plan has been in motion for a while now.
Wow.
And now we're at the culmination of the plan. When you take down the power is through the wealth. When you take down the wealth is through the dollar. When you take down the dollar, you take down the full faith and credit, right? That's what they say. But they don't mean faith. They literally mean faith as a literal, literal mammon, Dagon, Raphan, whatever you want to call it, idolatry of the monetary order. And I'm not gonna lie, we enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
I travel, be like, all right, let's get this dollar on out here. No, 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 no reals. No, no, no. We want dollar. Okay. If somebody told me to get reals, dollar would have just been easier. Mm-hmm. This is where we're at, family. Cause now let's tie this all together. Let me share this tab. This is from Al Jazeera. Could a Southern African military force help bring stability to DRC? Two separate foreign military missions withdraw from the country after an unimpressed Kinshasa asked them to leave. South Africa is deploying thousands of troops to the Democratic Republic of Congo to help the country resist rebel attacks, which are driving one of Africa's most serious humanitarian crises. On Thursday, that was yesterday, the South African military said 2 of its soldiers had been killed and 3 wounded by a mortar bomb that landed inside a military base. So now you have South Africa in there. And South Africa isn't just South Africa. You're probably going to have a lot of either Chinese, Russian, and Indian forces going in there to train and cut their teeth. Because why? Because it's called military interoperability. Military interoperability. We already know what the conflict is over. It's over money. But now I look at it like this. More than likely, you're going to have the DRC. It's going to shift east. And that's going to shift east through South Africa. South Africa is on a major power grab on the continent, because with it being on the continent, thank you for Navalny died. Alexei Navalny, that was a rival of Putin. He died in prison in Russia. He was already sick, and they killed that man off.
Oh, he was sick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right.
They took him to Siberia.
Okay. Oh, Siberia. Oh,
mm-hmm. Yeah. But getting back to that, listen. Now you see how this was all playing out, because now it's the power structures, the traditional power structures are now being whisked away. They're now falling apart. And here we are. Very interesting how we're seeing all this tied together. Brother Mike, what say you?
the thing, looking at what's happening now and things. I mean, what you've been saying from a military background, and what your synapses, as they say. You wanting what they call the low people, the ones that the world was like, hey, they consider us collateral people. When I say collateral, people that's going to fall to the wayside. And so when you're seeing these things, you let people know, hey, no, this is what's happening, and you break it down in a way that we can understand it from A to Z. Okay, this is bad. What do we need? What do I need to do? Because when it boils down to it, it's always going to be an I. Whether it's a husband, wife, and kids, It's going to boil down to a decision that has to be made for the betterment of your individual families. Some may make a bad decision. Some may, I don't know. We've been in bad position, but bad predicaments before, and we always come off on top.
Mm-hmm.
But you ain't never seen nobody come up against a dollar. Have anything else outside of bricks ever came up against a dollar? Do you know anything that came up against a dollar, Karis?
You had Gaddafi.
Oh,
He was trying to get,
but he went way above their line of thinking. Oh, wait a minute, he won't gold? Oh no, he has to be deleted. Where did he get the nerve to ask for gold? No, that'll put too much power in his pocket. Man, please. But when you sit there and you sit back, Yah is not using highly political educated people. He's not using them. He's using people who is on the ground with you already. That's who he's using. Because he said he already is, man. But the thing about it is, business-wise, when we look at things in the world gives you hints. Hey, this is what's going on with the dollar. The gold is at this particular price. But how in the world gold is at, what is it, 2,200? But the stock market is still high. That don't supposed to be that way. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
It's not, and that's why you can tell the stock market is artificially inflated. But, to me, it looks as though we have about another 60 to 90-day window. Personally speaking.
You always giving them you always trying to give them the world a let me tell y'all something about Karis. Karis look for the best scenario for people. He tried to get everybody the benefit of the doubt. And I don't knock him for it. That's his gift. He give people the benefit of the doubt. He does. He does that. It's like, I'm not saying that I'm looking for people to fail or be doomed. But I come to a point where, look at you on your own. That's how I look at it. You are on your own. When it gets to a point, and it could be on me, I could be a person of impatience. But then that's when you got another brother or sister that rolls in. Oh, well, let's take it in this perspective. And that's what Karis does. He does. He don't look for the destruction. He looks to save a person or whatever the situation may be for you to make a better decision. Although he cannot make you, nor can I, make you do what you truthfully need to do. But that's one thing. He has that gift. He has that gift. Oh, what? Are you arguing about this? All right, let's just share it then. And I'd be like, no. You stay in your lane. This group stay in their lane. This group stay in their lane. That's just me. Karis look for, and like I said, you cannot knock them for it. And this is how and this is how we have to look at things, business-wise.
Yeah,
you will have to always have a Karis or person who's always got that, like, I don't feel too comfortable with this. And that's how things start to work out. Because what you may not see, another brother can see potential, and another sister may see an advantage. And that's one thing I noticed about this brother. And it's a good thing. You can't knock it. You cannot knock it, because none of us on this planet Earth is perfect in any type of business. When you see businesses, when Karis started to put together Quest United Africa, he was talking about things he was speaking English, and at the same time he was speaking a foreign language, which I never heard of. Jot form, all this stuff. I'm like, what in the world? Usually I just shut up and listen to him, because it don't make sense to me to voice no opinion, because I don't understand nothing that he's saying. I'm just trusting things that he's putting together. Go ahead, Karis. I ain't mean to cut you off like that, brother.
No worries. Yeah, don't be pacifying no grown Israelites. but I want us to have the clarity, and I try to make sure that we all have clarity in what's happening and what's going on, because what we see happening is that, as the dollar and gold were supposed to be pegged, and that peg is no longer there because gold is now going through the roof. And it's runaway. So why? Because nations are now using the gold to peg the dollar, and that is very, very bad for the United States. That's not supposed to happen. And now, see, what you have to understand, there's blood in the water, and the U.S. knows that it's vulnerable, because let me show you this next article.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put this here in the chat. South Africa urges ICJ to consider action on Israel's planned Rafah assault. World Court asked to order additional emergency measures ahead of an assault on Gaza City crammed with displaced people. This was 13 February. This is about 3 days ago. So South Africa says it has asked the World Court to consider whether the plan on the Gaza Strip by the Eastern Mediterranean nation, which is densely populated, Rafah, because those Palestinian citizens are not protected. South Africa, the South African government has made an urgent request to the International Court of Justice to consider whether the decision announced by Israel to extend its military operations in Rafah, which is the last refuge for surviving people in Gaza, requires that the court uses, and then it says such and such. You can read the tweet.
Oh, who is Rafah?
So Rafah is in Palestine.
All right.
It's a city in Palestine, and where folks were congregating, from northern Gaza City, they're going now into Rafah, and now they're basically being surrounded.
Wait a minute. Hold on. The Rafahs, are they a separate group of people from the Houthis?
No, Rafah is a city.
I see. It's a city. All right.
The Gaza Strip. It is a city.
Okay. Mm.
So, yes. So now that's one of the last vestiges that is there for um, the evacuations that's ongoing.
Mm.
So it's an emergency action that that South Africa is requesting. Now, let me also tell you this. Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, said just a couple of days ago that the US is targeting them because the US is trying to bully South Africa after South Africa took them folks to jail or to court. The eastern part of them folks, and now the western part of them folks, the United States is about to get a lawsuit from South Africa.
Yeah, I see. Now, I did see that now.
So there's things going awry. You know, the bad blood is happening.
So, how do you think this 10 toes is going to come in? Truthfully, I mean, what will it take for the 10 toes to say, "Hey, we are going to assume position or power"?
Well, with that one, that's out of our scope of discussion here for Q2A discussions live. But we could touch on that in Covenant Awakenings on Monday.
Mm.
But I would say that we're starting to see a different economic dynamic. It's a globalization or polarization of different globalization. And now here we are at this time. This is a
Mm.
critical time, family. This is crucial. And we're here. This is a time that, listen, we've been in a place where we have seen this constant slide. And the arrogance that was had was nobody can touch me. And now everybody's touching them. On top of that, here's another interesting thing that we didn't even touch on that I really wanted to touch on because this is very important, especially as it relates to BRICS. In a place called Adviivka, Ukraine, Russia has basically cut off and encircled Ukrainian soldiers, probably a couple thousand of them. And this is the worst cutoff that you can have.
Mm.
And they're trying to tell them, look, you're going to fight to your death.
Mm.
This is something.
Wow.
Because why? Let me tell you this. They for Ukraine was this US Western backed country that NATO was training and all this other stuff to hold off the Russians and everything else. And they done fired their general earlier this week. They got a new general that's that's a kamikaze. He don't care. And now he rushed in all these folks is just getting deleted. And it's turning into a just a total chaotic bloodbath. And honestly, that is the horror that you can now see is getting ready to be unleashed on this country. If you haven't seen what Eastern Ukraine looks like, this is nothing but rubble. And then imagine all of the agents and sleeper cells that are residing here. And imagine all of the folks that they wanted here. The African brothers and sisters that weren't even allowed to leave Ukraine. They knew what was getting ready. They knew what time it was. And now they can't even find men to fight. And when they do find the men to fight, their folks are fighting against the government so they don't take the men because they know that it's literally a bloodbath. They're trying to dress up as women to cross borders in Ukraine into either Romania or Poland. That's how crucial this is.
Man, that's sad. You got to dress up as like a woman just to cross into somewhere else to avoid a war.
Yeah, because they're literally sending them to the front lines. They're training them for 2 weeks and then they're sending them on in. And when you're trained for 2 weeks for combat operations, you ain't trained. You're just getting thrown into there as another body catcher. You're a bullet catcher.
Mm. Mm, mm, mm. But let me ask you something. My sister, she be posing this to me. How is this situation affecting her 401?
Because here's the thing. That affects global trade. Because when Russia has Ukraine capitulate, that affects European powers, European entities. Because why? Because then Europe will have to start paying the price to Russia, which means that if Europe is no longer paying the US and it pays Russia, that is a monetary source that's no longer available.
Mm.
So it will affect the 401k. It will affect how oil is traded. It will affect even more maritime vessels and
Mm.
imports and exports into the United States. Because the UK will be affected, and guess what? So will the Atlantic. So if you have Russian subs in the Atlantic, because EU had to capitulate because they need to have that oil come through, the only people that's affected is really the UK and the US. Even greater, the UK.
Mm.
And the UK will just have to hold on for dear life. That to me, being in the UK is an unenviable situation, which I believe give it a few or 4 or 5 months, and then guess what? They'll have to capitulate.
Yeah. Oh, we. Okay.
Yeah. So with
Uh,
that, let's go ahead and let's wrap this on up with Quest Unite Africa discussions. We're giving you the stories,
I'm sorry,
family.
Cass.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
didn't hear you. No, I didn't hear you.
I said, yeah. I said, we're going to wrap this on up with Quest Unite, our Quest Unite Africa discussions. Because, look, all we can do is just give the news. It's up to you to decide what to do with it.
Yeah, you're right about that, bro. You gotta start making some decisions. And I know we haven't seen days like this before, and what we're seeing and what we're seeing, what we are witnessing, is it can be detrimental financially speaking. And we got to start making some decisions. And yeah, you gonna have individuals who have no idea of how to invest or how to move their money into other um, offshore accounts in order to protect their not their way of life, but to protect their financial stability to take care of their families. If you ever want to see some stress, if you ever want to see stress, get to a point in your life where you cannot feed your child. That's going to be the worst stress you can have. When you can't pay for your car insurance, when you can't pay for your rent or mortgage, that's that stress, because there's no positive outcome of not having some type of financial security. And that's all money is. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. And we all know what we need to do in order to make a living, to make money, and take care of our families, and keep things in its proper perspective. But this is what we are now. Groceries. I walked out the store yesterday with 3 bags of groceries. 3 bags, plastic bag, and it cost me $100. I was literally trying to think, man, I need to go back and shoplift some more stuff because this is crazy. I got these 3 little bags and it cost me $100. This is crazy. But that's what's happening. Ain't nothing coming in to replenish the shelves. So what you may see on the shelf right now, you may not see that for a couple of weeks. And then that's if the warehouse have it in stock. Everything is a domino effect. Mm-hmm. It's a domino effect. And it's happening. It is absolutely happening. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. The government did warn us. This is 2024, 2023, 2022. 2022.
Yes, it did.
Did they not warn us, Karis? Did they not say, hey, this is what's going to happen? And here we are. They knew what they was going to do. They knew we gonna have to get this this war started. It's going to be a food shortage because we know for a fact they're not going to allow us to bring this through. 2022, they warned us. Harris came back and said, hey, if they do this here, this is what's going to happen. And it's something how Yah will use his own people to be part of military, understand how the military moves or politics, or even false religion for that matter. And we come back and we use it. And we give you, and these brothers, they give you their expertise in how you need to move. That's the beauty of it. We're dealing with some financial things. We are literally seeing a powerhouse dollar, and it was not a head blow. It was not a head blow. This was a Achilles blow. And if anybody know anything about the Achilles heel, that's at the back of your foot. You hit that particular. Some people don't say it's a bone. Some say it's cartilage. I think it's bone. That's just me. But if you hit that, you go come down. You are not going to stand if your Achilles was ever damaged. You're not going to stand. You will not be able to stand. You will be knocked down. Bruh, I think we just set this political state. This is where we at. I never seen anything like this. And just to hear the political, seeing what the brothers are doing in Africa, when it comes to the political sector, as to, hey, they want to do their own money and things of that nature. We don't want to do this in US dollars no more. Why is it that the world has came up against one particular currency? One. I don't see them talking about the yen or the franc. That dollar is top dog, and it's standing up. It's like it's in court now, Karis. It's like it's standing up in court, shackled down, like you may take a black man. He come into the courtroom with shackles on his feet and on his hands, and his hands in the back where they got handcuffs on them and everything. That's where the dollar is at right now, right there before the judge. Only thing about the dollar has not bowed its head, showing some type of remorse or some type of shame. The dollar got its head up as if, hey, I'm walking out of here in the next 5 minutes. But reality saying, oh, you ain't going nowhere except for that burning chamber. You go turn into you go be dust, and that's what we are seeing. It seems like everything is lined up. Everybody they have the political factors has really shown their distaste to the dollar. And when you got the countries talking about it or acting about it, and then what do the countries do? Hey, they get their people in line to do the same thing they're doing. Now you got a massive amount of people that coming up against the dollar. Oh, the dollar's no good, and so on and so on. Like, what was that sister you said? That's in Senegal. Hey,
yeah, Sister Pamela. Yep.
Yeah. First hand. When you go there and they see an African American, yes. They see an African American, but they also see a dollar sign that comes before it and after. That's your cash app. Mm-hmm. Hey, and one day, Karis is going to get to a point. Hey, what is it that y'all can do? The dollar's no good. So we got to start making decisions, brother. Decisive decisions. And then because to sit here and say, I should have done something. Should have, would have, all that is not going to mean a hill of beans. Once it really sets in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
Mm. Well, thank you, Brother Mike. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to wrap this up. The call to action, join our amazing volunteers and any of our work teams by volunteering at Q2UA.org. We also have our Sunday collaboration meeting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is via Zoom, so you'll need to sign up. You'll get the Zoom link registration. You hit Wi-Fi audio to hear. Hit Wi-Fi audio when you join the meeting. Wi-Fi audio, and you'll be able to hear. Again, thank you all for your support. We're going to meet that. Again, I tell you, family, we do have that $15,000 need. We do. And I'm throwing it out there. We have not because we ask not. It really is the situation. It's a nonprofit. It's a nonprofit organization. It's the organization the Most High has provided for, and we're doing His will all day, every day. So, family, thank you for your support. You can donate by visiting Q2UniteAfrica.org. And there's a donate button. The reason we have you donate through there, not Cash App, is that we can then have a proper accounting of all the monies that come in. Please also visit our Q2Unite Africa channel. Brother Fast Nickel just uploaded another video, and we're getting our news videos on out. These highlight what we just talked about. Shout out to our PR team that's getting that taken care of. And again, your support goes a long way. We're trying our best to work on donations. We're trying our best to work on grants. Many grants we have on out there. Many applications we have on out there. But I believe that we internally here, we can do it. We have the support just here. Just here. I look at this. There was around 300 people that were in this live stream today. If we had $50 from each person, we would meet our goal. Right now it's 250. If we had 60 from each person, we'd meet our goal. You do that by visiting Q2UniteAfrica.org. And there's a donate button. You click there to donate. We can do this, family. We can do this. So with that said, family, it's been a week. Continue to pray for Q2Unite Africa. Pray for our volunteers. Pray for the organization. Most High willing, we'll see you back on Monday, February 19th. That is President's Day. And continue, family, to make sure that you are protected. Please be aware of your surroundings. Please be aware of your surroundings. Because we're living in some very perilous times. Do not take anything for granted. So with that said, Shalom, Salama, Siyemi, Shalom, peace and blessings, Yasharel.
Tuna wageni watatu, Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani, karibuni sana.
Are you tired of fighting with your wife or with your husband? Have you each retreated into your separate corners, not even trying to speak to each other anymore? Are your children witnessing a toxic marriage rather than a purposeful partnership? Hi, I am Shar, and I am an attorney mediator and experienced in helping families for the past 13 years navigate really challenging times. And I am here to help you. Husbands, hear your wives. Wives, hear your husbands. So together we can find the truth why your family is struggling and what it will take to get unstuck from cycles of misunderstanding and patterns of frustration. Join me live on YouTube on this Monday night at 6:00 p.m. Eastern as I conduct a live mediation. And if you would like to be heard, if you would like to hash out a misunderstanding with your spouse here on our live, sign up now to apply for your free opportunity to mediate. And I look forward to seeing you Monday night. Container packed with supplies that need to make their way to families in Africa like yesterday. You said this is a 53-foot trailer? This trailer is packed with medical supplies destined to the motherland. We need to help get these out of here.